Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another broadcast of the Lawrence Report. On tonight's broadcast, we'll be discussing episode 6 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Now, Percy Jackson and the rest of the crew, they are headed to Las Vegas to meet up with Hermes, right? At the same time, they still have their quest to meet Poseidon and Santa Monica. And also, they have to stop the war between Poseidon and Zeus. And not to mention, they are trying to retrieve the lightning bolt. And they gotta still take a trip down to the underworld to save Percy Jackson's mother. So this is a lot that is going on with the series and with Percy Jackson himself. It seems like it's a never-ending story. Well, never-ending journey or quest, I could say, for Percy Jackson. And in the early stages of this episode, Percy is in a dream sequence, right? And we end up meeting someone by the name of the headmaster. So we get a chance to meet the headmaster, right? But the headmaster is not feeling Percy at all. In fact, he tells Percy that, when it comes to your worthiness, there is another that just might be ready to take your place. Isn't that right, little hero? And when Percy hears this right here, he immediately wakes up for the dream. And basically the headmaster is telling Percy that he need to get his act together, because we got to stop this war between Zeus, this potential war between Zeus and Poseidon. So, as we all know, Percy eventually ends up telling Annabeth about the dream that he had, but that happens later in the episode because those two are very, very close, and they do share a lot of details about the journey, the quest that they're currently on, right? So Annabeth ends up contacting Iris, the goddess of the rainbow, right? And they end up getting in contact back with Luke, who is back at Camp Half-Blood. So Annabeth and Percy, they end up getting in contact with Luke, right? Luke is back at Camp Half-Blood, right? And there's a theory that Grover believes that Clarice is the one who actually stole the lightning bolt. He believes this theory because he was in contact with Ares, and of course his daughter is actually Clarice, and he feels that Ares is holding back some information to protect his daughter, right? So he ended up telling Luke about this information. But keep in mind, it is a simple theory. We still don't know. With 2 episodes left, we still don't know yet who truly stole the lightning bolt. From there, we see the team, they're finally arriving to Las Vegas. Keep in mind, they're still looking for Hermes, hoping that he can actually help them with their quest, right? And the hotel that they actually arrive to is actually called the Lotus Hotel. Now, inside this hotel, it's kind of like a casino, right, in Vegas. But in this hotel, things are different. Time is much different. The surrounding is much different. The minutes, the hours is all completely different, right? And while they're in this hotel, one of the many keys is to not eat these little lotus flowers, because these flowers and just being in this hotel alone, it seems like you kind of end up losing your memory for a while. You forget a couple of things. We saw that happen to Grover. Actually, he forgot who he was, who Annabeth and Percy was. He didn't know what quest it was on. His memory got lost due to, now he didn't eat the flowers, but just being in that environment made him lose a lot of memory. But eventually he gained it all back, remembered what they was on, like what was the quest truly about. So the duo of Percy and Annabeth, they do finally end up locating Hermes, aka Lin-Manuel, a great actor, by the way. They end up, locating him, and at first he wasn't trying to help them out, but Annabeth and Percy tells him that they're friends of Luke, and eventually they're sitting at his table. They're chit-chatting, and he says that Poseidon wants to help, but he knows that if he helps, he's going to make the quest even worse than it currently already is going, right? So the team, they thought that Hermes was going to be a key to help them to get to the underworld, but he kind of helps them in a certain kind of way, which I'm about to discuss. So for Grover, he's still being affected by the casino, by the bliss of this Lotus, right? In fact, he's actually playing a virtual game, but eventually he snaps out of this game. His memory comes back, and the team that end up taking, not Poseidon, they end up taking Hermes' car, and it has some instructions on the car about how to get to the underworld finally. Now, keep in mind, Percy Jackson has never drove a car. In fact, he's still like a very young teen, basically, right? So, trying to get to Santa Monica, trying to get the chance to finally meet Poseidon, and as they go there, Percy decides to go to the water, decides to go into the water. Now, the one thing that I absolutely love about Percy Jackson, this guy right here does not take no for an answer. In fact, he's hell bent on trying to find his mother and trying to build a relationship and trying to find his father, right? So as I said, Percy, he goes into this water, the ocean, I guess you could say. And as he, goes into the Santa Monica Ocean, he's met with this character by the name of, which is actually a spirit by the name of Nereid, from the Mississippi River. She tells Percy that, your father, he's left you a message. He's proud of you, but the quest has failed and that you must return back to Camp Half-Blood. Percy begs for help, but she ends up giving him these 4 pearls that are basically going to help him, in the underworld when it's time for him to finally get there. She tells Percy to save the world and then go save your mother before the episode ends. So now we are down to just 2 episodes of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and it's been a long journey trying to get Percy back to his mother from the underworld, trying to retrieve this lightning bolt. Percy's been trying to trust Annabeth and Grover. There's some disconnect there for a little bit. So we will see how things continue to play out for Percy Jackson. 2 episodes left, which, I need to take a look at how long these next 2 episodes are actually going to be. I'm hoping that the last episode will be at least an hour, but we shall see. If you've been watching Percy Jackson, please comment below about your favorite episode thus far. And as always, thank you for tuning in to The Lawrence Report.